Am I the Buttface, AITB, for sleeping with someone in our home after my ex-partner broke up with me? Posted on subreddit, AmItheButtface by DonDamondoBackground. I'm a 27-year-old male who'd been with my partner, a 24-year-old female, for nearly 5 years. We'd moved into a house in March this year and got engaged later that month. She broke up with me 2/3 weeks ago because she said she simply didn't really love me anymore. We got together when she was 19 and wanted to experience other relationships. She'd been feeling this way for a while, but it was news to me and a shock, seeing as I thought it had been going well, house, engagement, etc. As it was amicable, we stayed living together in our co-owned house for now in a different room. We had a discussion last week where it got to the fact that she said she wanted me to sleep with someone. I guess because she saw I was unhappy not being with her and she felt guilty or something. The only thing she said was, I don't think I would personally see someone in our joint house, to which I agreed I don't think I'd bring anyone back here either. She went away this weekend and I did, in fact, bring someone back to our house and slept with them, in my room, which was the spare room initially. Going anywhere else wasn't really an option. Her house had people, couldn't go to my parents'. I didn't think to book a hotel at 5 a.m. My ex came back on Sunday and I told her, kind of had to as the girl was still there. Now she is very angry, wants me gone and never wants to speak to me again, and I have obliged to stay with my parents, seeing as I caused all the pain. We're starting to move forward with her buying me out of the house now, but it still hurts me to lose her and she's still very upset. The reason I'm asking here is that I think I've been a major buttface, but I've been speaking to others about it and the majority of people think I've done nothing wrong and that it was okay, seeing as she broke up with me, wanted me to sleep with someone, was away anyway, and the house is both ours. Note, she has been openly talking to guys, accepting date invitations, etc., but she hasn't yet slept with anyone or brought them back to ours. She did admit she was kind of getting this attention while we were still together, and that was one of the reasons for the breakup. The split is rough. I've told 15 or so people, one agrees with her and is also super angry at me. 5 or so think it was a silly idea of me to do it, but then think it's fine seeing as she broke up with me anyway. 5 or so think I've done nothing wrong at all. The remainder were lads who just found it hilarious. Here are some of the replies they got. User Juba Marie replied, NTB. It really comes across to me as I don't want you anymore, but I don't want anyone else to have you either. It sucks that her feelings are hurt, but you aren't in a relationship anymore, so those feelings are hers to manage. That house is half yours, and until she buys you out and the ink on the new paperwork is dry, you have a legal claim to live there. If it's easier on you to be elsewhere, that's your choice, but her kicking you out is ridiculous. Even if she didn't want other relationships, I don't think she was ready for marriage, and you dodged a bit of a bullet here. DonDamondoBackground replied back. She claims she was fine with me sleeping with someone, just not in our house. Yeah, I don't fancy living in a house that is gonna feel stressful 24/7, so I'd rather move out and move forward with getting my money. The thing was, she'd been pressuring me to propose since year 2. I told her I have a 2-year rule where that's the minimum time I need to be with someone before even thinking of proposing. When I did propose, my plan went tits up and wasn't the best, and that's another one of the things she told me had affected her decision to break up. This was 5 months ago and she hadn't said anything about it until she dropped the bombshell that she just wanted to be friends with. It's Chmad also replied with, this girl definitely has some illusions about relationships that she wanted to fit in and force. Not her fault, as I'm assuming it's one of her first relationships that started at 19, at least more than a school crush type. She forced you to propose and it didn't match how it went in her head, so she's punishing you for it. I've had to deal with that too. Trying to fit into unreasonable expectations because that's what your partner imagined happening in their brain scenario, and when it doesn't turn out exactly like that, it's your fault and a meltdown ensues. She was not mature enough for a relationship. DonDamondoBackground replied, I can see that now. I guess I thought it was just she was so madly in love with me that she wanted it to happen. I even asked her best friend for advice, who told me no matter how you do it, you know she'll be super happy and probably even cry. Her only proper relationship before me was less than a year and ended when he cheated on her, so I guess that makes sense. She was kind of having dates before we'd officially broke up without labeling it a date as well, if that helps, like going for walks at a lake/forest with a guy from work. To me, it was a date, but to her, it wasn't, as it was just a walk. She did say that being with him wasn't necessarily what she wanted, but she had seen things with him we didn't have, and that again affected her decision. She told me this after the breakup, otherwise I definitely would have said something. It's Chmad followed up with, she was kind of having dates before we'd officially broke up without labeling it a date as well, if that helps, like going for walks at a lake/forest with a guy from work. Mega NTB. This is exactly the "it's just a friend, it doesn't mean anything." Then surprise surprise, when a few weeks after breaking up they're in a situationship. Given some more time, one of these guys she walked alone in the forest after work would just so happen to invite her to their house. That would be totally fine because it's not at your house, but it actually started way before she even broke up. She wanted out because she knew she could find someone else without staying single. Huge young relationship trap. Once they get in a relationship they can't comfortably be single. Jess Vaping then said, "YTB. Last week you had a discussion that you both wouldn't feel comfortable bringing someone else back to the house you share. Then this weekend that's exactly what you did, and your ex got the pleasure of seeing the new lady in the house. To me that sounds like you two had a discussion, both agreed you wouldn't bring other people to the house, and you waited until she left and brought someone to sleep over. Am I missing something? Ask yourself how you would feel in this situation if your ex did the same thing but you were the one coming home to see a new guy she slept with the night before. Would you like it? Probably not. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. Yes, my ex broke up with you, but that doesn't mean you should be a jerk about it. It's okay to move on, breakups suck. The two of you still live together and will need to establish boundaries. You've already blown through the boundary, so that's why you are the butt. Maybe have another conversation, actually, pay attention, and deal with each other's requests in a respectful manner." Which Unbashuk replied with, "Nah, even establishing a rule like that in a house he owns as well as an asshole narcissistic deal. She broke up with him, why didn't she move to her parents or a friend for the time being, like a normal person? Yeah, I don't love you and our long relationship is over, but you still have to look at me, see me flirt with people, and also, follow my unclear rules. He just did it first. In a week she would be calling him and saying don't come home tonight for reasons." Which DonDamondo replied back, "So my understanding of the rule was there so we didn't have to hear each other doing the deed. I did actually use your logic to justify my actions, to myself, at the time, in that I'd probably be upset if she slept with someone, yes, but if I was away from the house then I'd be no more upset than if she slept with someone at their house. Yeah, I agree I'm the buttface after seeing how hurt she is. I just wanted to check to see as so many people told me I did nothing wrong and I was confused. I think a conversation is off the cards, for now, she doesn't want to see me, speak to me at the minute, or likely ever again. I've moved out to my parents for now to give her the space she wants." Then user Senseless Noise said, "Ignore this awful take. She initiated the breakup, she said she didn't love you anymore, so what is there to be hurt about? That you're moving on faster than she wanted? She doesn't want you but also doesn't want anyone else to have you. Sounds like she's trying to play the field and may want you as a backup in case whatever she wanted that initiated the breakup doesn't happen. Edit, just read your post again, she wants to explore but has you as a safe backup in case she realizes the grass isn't greener. That's some bullshit for sure. NTB at all. Oh no, the consequences of my own actions is not a valid reason to be mad at you." GingerSnap99 chimed in with, "I honestly believe you're wrong. She doesn't care if he moves on, she is the one who pushed him to sleep with this other girl. She's been actively encouraging him to see other women. She's upset because she proposed a house rule as his roommate, he agreed to it, and in less than 3 weeks he completely threw it out the window. She then had to come home to some strange woman in her home as his roommate and a woman who had just had sex with Op as his ex-girlfriend. Bottom line is that Op made a promise, then broke the promise, and now the promisee is rightfully upset. OMG, this is getting nuts, what do you have to say?"